Today we're talking about how to create not only financial freedom, but also time freedom and emotional freedom. You see, having become financially free at the age of 26, I've really learned how to master all three of those areas. Today I'm going to give you my biggest hacks on how not just to have the money, but how to have the time and how to have the happiness that, frankly, we're all looking for.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
You know, there's not a lot of people searching for the information that I'm going to be talking about in today's video, but if they knew what I was going to share, they would be searching for this. You know, one of my mentors I paid $1 million to said, Kris, the most dangerous information is what most people don't know, and it's what you don't know. It's dangerous because it's keeping you from making the progress that we're all hoping to have in life. Today, I'm talking about freedom, and most of the time I'm talking about money freedom, right? Financial freedom. But there are two other kind of freedoms that are even more important than the money freedom. And I want to talk about all three of them today. In fact, I've kind of listed them all here, and it starts with really this question of what is freedom? I mean, freedom is something that we really value. Freedom is something that we all claim that we want, but it's nebulous, it's abstract, and no one really knows how to define it until we get specific. You know, I can tell you right now that freedom as a whole means, for me, the ability to act and do the things that I want to do. But you see, then I'm restricted. I'm restricted by money. So then we have this conversation of financial freedom. And financial freedom is this idea that says, I have enough money coming in residually that I no longer need to work for money. The money just comes in no matter what. And so that's a freedom that I think many people are associated with. In fact, you might be a subscriber on this channel because you're hoping that all of my experience and nearly $1 billion of real estate will help you have more financial freedom. And I think today's conversation is going to further that. But to do that, we need to understand and explore the two other kind of freedoms that are out there. And I've put them right here. I believe that financial freedom is really important. I've been financially free since the age of 26. That means that I've been able to travel to 40 different countries, drive any car I want, live in any house I want. For the last 14, 15 years, I've been living in mansions, these beautiful homes. And yet, if financial freedom is the only kind of freedom that we pursue, I think we're going to be missing something that is far more important in life. I want to talk to you today about not just financial freedom, but I want to talk about this one right here. I want to talk about time, and I want to talk about emotions. You see, time freedom, it's like having money is great, but the question is, do you have time? And do you know what comes first? If you're watching this, pursuing this, and saying, Kris, help me become more financially free. You did it so early. You're doing it again every single day. You're doing millions of dollars, you know, in income every year, in growth, in net worth increase, in cash flow. Like, is it really all about the money? And I would say, actually, the freedom that you should be focusing on first is not a money freedom. You should first be focusing on a time freedom. Time is a function of money. We all have 24 hours in the day. So like, for example, for a moment, take a look at my lifestyle. I work part-time. Right now I've got 4 children. My wife and I are putting a lot of effort and energy into them. We travel a lot with them. We get on planes, we see places. We are providing our children with a private education, not the public school system, because we believe that we can do a superior job. I don't think that's very hard with the public system that's out there. I went to public school, and yet the only way that I'm able to do that, it's not because I have money. It's because I have time. And before you can get a money freedom, you should all be striving for a time freedom. How do you get a time freedom? Well, first of all, you should be asking yourself, how do I actually make more money with less time? What is the time that I use that actually makes me money? And what are the things I'm doing with my time that actually don't? Like, for example, you should be striving to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. But a business owner, not a business operator. You understand me? Like, a business operator is stuck in the day-to-day business, just like having a JOB, a just over broke job. A business owner has actually a command of their time and has other people running the business. You should be looking to get into business because many jobs don't actually try to equip you with time freedom. It's the opposite. They want to leverage you and they want to pay you for your time. There's a time and a place for that. But if you want to get ahead of the game, before there's financial freedom, you got to ask, how do I get more time freedom? What is a business? What is something you can do with your life where you can get leverage? Leverage means, like, for example, every day I have people getting my books for free. And I've got to pay somebody to take my book and actually stuff it in a mailer and print out the address label and get it to the post office. That person is my daughter. She's turning 14 years old this next month, and I pay her 35 cents for every book that she puts in the mail. So when I say I give you the book for free, but you cover the shipping, part of that money that you pay for shipping allows me to pay my daughter to actually stuff a bunch of books and use her time that way. Once in a while, she says, Dad, I'm stressed. I've got Taekwondo, I've got school, I want to play with my friends. I can't get the books out today. And I said, what would happen if you gave a nickel or a dime to your younger brother or younger sister and let them jump in and help? It's great money for them, right? They get a chance to make a quick $5 or $10, which if you remember when you were like 8 and 10 years old, that's like a serious amount of money, right? And so all of a sudden she's like, Dad, I get to put in half the time, but I'm not giving away half the money. I'm like, honey, that's called leverage. And when you're the owner of something, you're creating now what's called a positive arbitrage, and you're getting your time back. Time back, for you to have time freedom, it's all about leverage. Now, by the way, many of you know, if you're a follower on this channel, that I love the conversation of real estate investing. The very first home that I bought, it paid me a cash flow. Now, I lived in this home, I rented out the basement, and I got to live in it for free. I was living in a tiny hole in the ground that I had to write a $400 a month check to. And this was like a little 400 square foot, hadn't been updated, I think, since probably like the 60s or 70s. When I moved to a house, I stopped paying $400 a month. Well, that gave me some financial freedom. And then I said, well, I will get time freedom if I can keep doing that. So I went and said, you know what, let's do it again. So I did it a second time. I bought another house, but I lived in this one for free. On this house, when I rented it out, I had a cash flow of $600 a month. Now, by the way, that extra $600 a month meant that I didn't need to put in extra time at my job to make an extra $600 a month. Not to mention the $400 a month I was saving. $1,000 differential. I was now living in a house, 3 bedrooms for free, making $600 there. There's a $1,000 difference. And that $1,000 meant that I didn't need to work for an extra $1,000 a month. I liked it so much that I said, man, let's get 25 homes. I did it 25 times, and then I had a 6-figure residual income. That 6 figures gave me time freedom and financial freedom. Because what I did is I quit my job. I quit my job because my job was paying me, by the way, I had built it up to the point where I was making over $100,000 a year. But my real estate was paying me more. When I walked from the job, I got my time back. Real estate was working in place of me, so I got my time and money. So time freedom and financial freedom, one of the things that you got to ask yourself is, how do I get more time back so I can start a business? How do I get more time back so I can leverage it more intelligently for making more money? Time freedom, financial freedom, but you know what? Today's bonus for you is this last one. It's called emotional freedom. And I will tell you, this is the most important freedom to me in my world today. Because let me ask you, if you had all the money in the world, if you had all the time in the world, and you were depressed, or you were sad, or you were unfulfilled, how free would you actually be? You're still locked in a cage. And you might say, but Kris, I got my time, I got my money. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of really sad billionaires and millionaires out there. People who have given their life to their business so that they could have money and have time, and now are unhappy. Here's the strangest part. Between the 3 of these, do you know which one you can actually get first? When people say, Kris, how did you really become financially free? Right now, on camera, for you, I want to tell you the truth. I tell you in my videos that I got mentors, and I bought lots of homes, and the homes gave me my time back, and it gave me money. But there was another kind of mentorship that was happening at the exact same time. I had other coaches and mentors that were helping me eliminate my limiting beliefs. Because a limiting belief, for example, people tell themselves all the time, I'm too stupid, or I'm not smart enough. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. Or they'll tell themselves, I can't do this, or I can't do that. Or I'm too young for this, or I'm too old for that. Those are limiting beliefs. And a limiting belief basically means that you put a ceiling on what you're capable of, and you change the perception. You're able and capable to do so much more, but because you don't believe it. And what that does is not just limits you, those limiting beliefs, they produce sadness and they produce anger, they produce frustration, they produce all the negative emotions. Financial freedom with negativity is not freedom at all, at least not for me. It's a part of freedom. The greatest freedom you can have is an emotional freedom. So my coaches, they took me through what I call belief breakthrough. They would mentor me by having conversations like, hey, when was the last time you felt sad this last week? And I'd say, well, I was just freaking yesterday afternoon. Well, what happened? And we would talk about it. It was almost like therapy, right? Like a counselor, except they would then do this. They would say, well, what triggered that emotion? And we would start exploring, oh my gosh, I've got a belief around myself that limits me. And then they showed me an effective way to yank the limitation out. And without the limitation, I couldn't have the negative side effect. Well, I did that process a couple thousand times and started realizing that all negative emotion is optional. When I talk about this feat that I did, buying 25 homes and then went on to buy hundreds of homes and then thousands of homes, the biggest thing that has aided me in that is not my technical knowledge on real estate. It's certainly not my connections of people that I made that have money. I cleared out all of the emotional baggage and garbage. And I'm a dude, right? Sometimes there are these stereotypes about emotion being emotional, women being emotional basket cases. Men and women get shut down, can feel like doormats, can just feel unfulfilled, unhappy, and can't figure out how to ignite their life and ignite passion and ignite excitement, thinking, well, if I had time back, I would be happier. If I had money, I'd be happier. And you know what? That's not true. There's a third freedom, and it is an emotional freedom, which, by the way, is why when people come out to my events, every quarter I put on a 4-day event. And those 4 days are transformational, as in just at the end of day one, people walk away saying they have never felt that way before. It was the most life-transforming experience of their life. You see, they come to me like, Kris, teach me real estate. Give me $1 million game plan. Make me money in real estate this year. And what I do is I give them that, but then I give them what they really need, which is the emotional freedom, where we tackle and eliminate the greatest limiting beliefs that screw up their psychology and keep us from being happy. This mind that wants to focus on the things that won't actually make us happy, because by the way, when they say money doesn't buy happiness, reality is that money actually doesn't. Money can buy opportunities to do things that can make you really happy, one of which is freaking get a coach and then learn how to live your life as big and as loud as you possibly can and live it to the fullest. So today, what is freedom for me? You need to be asking yourself these questions. Here's the takeaway. Number one, how can you leverage yourself? How can you stop putting time in the things that are not productive and switch it to something that makes you more money? Because more money will give you this freedom, and you can use that money to invest in ways to get more time back. This emotional freedom is the other really big takeaway today. I have other videos. In fact, I've written a book called Limitless. It'll actually show you how to get your emotional freedom back. In fact, if you click the link below, you can have this book entirely for free. After I helped thousands of people learn how to eliminate their limiting beliefs and had done it 5,000 times in my own life, I wrote a book about it. And you're one book away from actually possessing a simple self-taught technology, a little process every day for scraping out the negativity, the limiting beliefs, so that you can feel great. Because of this, having money won't make you feel great. The time to feel great is when? It's now. Emotional freedom comes first. Time freedom comes next concurrently. And that together gives you the greatest shot of creating the most financial freedom, because now you're an emotionally intelligent human being. You're happy, you love your life. People want to work with people like that. Doors open to happier people, greater positivity. I swear to you, greater positivity opens more doors and gives you more opportunities. Most people are screwed because they don't understand how their cynical or skeptical mindset keeps all the doors shut and slammed in their face because they got hurt once upon a time, and then they relive it by allowing that negativity to rebirth every single day. You can cut that off. By the way, I hope this was useful for you, and here's my invitation. Click the link below, register for my next event. Come get with me for 4 days, and I promise you will have a life-changing event. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. I'll double your money back. I dare you, just even after the first day, to walk away and say anything other than, this was life-transforming. And number two, get a copy of this book, Limitless. It will show you a technique. I'm giving this book away for free because I'm passionate about what it's done for me. I'm passionate what it's doing for my kids. I'm passionate about what it's done for countless other people, and it can certainly do it for you. So you got some invitations. Other than that, I've got another recommended video coming up right here to continue your journey of becoming a real estate ninja Jedi, business savant, and help you crush it emotionally in the world so that you can ultimately be free.